Hi, it's Jack Joseph Puig. Believe it or not, I woke up this morning with this voice. The last thing in the world is I wanted that ever to happen. But I really didn't want to pass up this opportunity to speak about the plugins, in particular 5 years later. And really what I want to do today is make sure that I explain some of the thought behind it in order for you to maximize the performance of the plugin and you have the ability to get the most out of it. 5 years ago, when I was thinking about making the series, a lot of decisions had to be made. You know, does it have reverb? Does it have delays? Does it have this? Does it have that? And in my mind, I saw the non-professional studio coming. I saw the fact that the business was changing and that we didn't have the same kind of money or budgets. So what I wanted to do is be able to create a line of plugins that people were able to take and easily get the sonic landscape to be very close. Reverbs and delays or anything like that are very dependent on the sound you send them. The reverb effectively is a mirror. If you send it something dark, it gives you something back dark. Of course, not if you change the EQs and things, but generally speaking, the reverb gives you back what you sent it effectively. So in my mind, I thought the most important thing is that the tones of the instruments are beautiful. So when I made the plugins, I was thinking of soundscape. I was thinking, hey, I would like to have something that I could put on a bass, a voice, a guitar, a keyboard, whatever it is, that immediately gets me to something really close that sounds great. Or in the perfect world, actually inspires me. That I put it on, I'm like, wow, I'm excited, that sounds great. I want to write this song. I want to do this production. This is how I thought it was going to be. I also wanted to have plugins that people that weren't as technical could understand. So I wanted to pick terms like sub, magic, attitude, terms that anyone can understand, but more importantly than that, terms that put you in a certain mindset. When you're creating, you don't necessarily think in terms of 20 hertz, 20K. You're thinking of bright, top, excitement. These are the kind of words that are really inside your head. What's not inside your head is, oh, 22.6 hertz, 4 dB. You're not really thinking like that. So why shouldn't the plugins in front of you think the way your brain's thinking? And if it thinks like that, you're in a different state of mind. If I have to go to the menu, click, equalizer, which one? Well, I read in a magazine that this particular one is great for EQ because Joe Blow uses it. So I'm going to put that one on. Then it's like, oh, well, I hear that you're always supposed to put a compressor. Compressor. Oh my God. 20 choices. Oh. Does that go before or after the EQ? Well, I saw YouTube and it said, you always put the compressor afterwards. I don't know why, but that's what the guy said. And I like his records. But he might have just said that. Maybe he put it before too. How do I make something that I can open it up and it says bass? That's it. No, like, which equalizer, which compressor? Do I put it before? Do I put it afterwards? No. Bass. What do I want with bass? Want sub. Probably going to want some low frequency. Move the air. If I'm making an urban record, if I'm doing EDM, that fader, that's the money. I need that sub fader. And I need to really do sub. But then maybe the attack's not quite right. I don't have to go try to find a compressor, mess with the release, mess with the attack. Which is the right one? What should a ratio be? All these thoughts in my head. Ratio, compression. Is it this? Is it that? Gone from the music. Mistake. I want attack. There's a fader. Attack. Boom. There it is. Done. Soundscape. You know, I'm listening to the, like if I was a cinematographer, listening to the sound. Attack. Sub. Little, in other words, little lipstick. Little rouge. Here it looks a little messy. You know, maybe need some attitude. It's not aggressive enough. Got the sub. Got attack. Just kind of sitting there. I want to, like, really have an attitude. Well, what is attitude? Is it distortion? Is it mid-range EQ? What is it? This is the mindset now I have to go through as a record maker. But if this is a fader, it says attitude, and I push it up, and it gives me an attitude. What is that worth? I'll tell you what it's worth. 20 years of figuring out what attitude is. 20 years of trying to understand what is attitude. What is sub? Does that matter to me? How do I get that? How do I get punch? I know what punch is. Punch, it hits me. What is punch? Is it sidechain compression? Is it 3 different compressors that I sidechain? One with a lot of attack, one with this, one with that. And essentially, the plugins are a lot of parallel compression, because parallel compression wasn't nearly as fashionable then, 5 years ago. But in my mind, when I'm building the sound, again, thinking like a cinematographer, thinking visually, I think about how long is the note? How tight's the note? How much attack does it have? The longer I make the note, the less attack I make, the slower the record feels, the more laid back it feels. If I push the attack fader up, and I hear it really attacking aggressively, it feels fast. I can feel the 8th notes. I can feel the 16th notes. And if I open up the sub, she comes from the bottom. She gives me the support to the chords, to the vocal, to the melody. It's thinking, voicing, thinking like a musician. It's cinematography. It's not supposed to be, oh, I turn the plug in, I push bass 1, and I'm done. No. Bass 1 starts you, so you don't have to go through that crazy list of all those plugins. But then you're going to sit back and go, okay, what does this need? What do I feel? Not what I think. What do I feel? And what do I really hear? Not what I think I hear. What do I really hear? What do I want this to be like? I want to have an attitude. Push the attitude fader on the vocal plugin. You know, it just, yeah, it's bright enough. And, delay? Reverb? I'm not sure what it needs. Magic fader. Push that magic fader up. I'm like, okay. I'm there. It's beautiful. Now, if you want to use the multiple amount of reverbs that are available, multiple amount of delays that are available, you can. But if you don't have the original sound intact, if you don't have the basic tone, these other things don't matter. You feed them junk, they give you junk. You feed them a great tone, they give you something back beautiful. So, in my mind, when I make the plugins, what was most important to me was creating a plugin that allows you to create a great tone and shape it. Attack, length. You know, that length fader, what is it? Well, it's a slower attack and a long release. So when you push it up, it makes the note feel longer. Maybe the guitar was like tick, 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 tick. I wish it was more dunk, 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 dunk. Longer notes. Dunk, 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 dunk. That feels different. Dunk, 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 dunk. Then tick, 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 tick. It's 2 different things. So maybe when I started writing the song, I just got out of the car and heard a punk record, and that was affecting how I was thinking. Then we go in the studio, we start making a song, and trying to make it all tight. And after 2 days, we're like, this ain't a punk song. This should be more like a ballad. Length. Now I change it. I change the tone to fit the music. But the tone, the attitude, the music, not the EQ. For many people who make records, when you say 25 hertz, they think you're going to hit them 25 times. Do I hit you 25? No. 25 hertz doesn't mean I hit you 25 times. It's a frequency. But they don't think like that. They understand you say, I need a low B or a low C. That's a subfader. In their mind, I want it to feel more like a 5-string bass. I want that low note. Subfader. Push-up sub. That's what it's supposed to be. Soundscape, sound designer, cinematographer. I truly believe that artist, whether it be a producer, a mixer, singer, band, whatever, right? We're very much affected by our environment, very much affected by what we see. If we walk into a control room or a studio or any kind of environment that's beautifully lit, that's sexy, it's fun, we may feel like we've arrived, we're excited, and we feel like we can create. What I wanted with the plugins is I wanted people to look at them and get a feeling. So for me, when you look at the white vocal plugin, white to me means inspiration, innovation, beauty. It's sexy to me, just the way it hits me. Red is bright, cymbals, hi-hats, explosion. All the colors mean something to me. That's why I picked the colors that I picked. And I wanted something that when people saw it, it was vibrant, made them feel excited, made them feel like creating, made them feel like it was something different, that it wasn't the same gray GUI, the same black GUI, the same whatever GUI, but something that was special, so they feel special. In making any of the plugins, voice, bass, guitar, etc., I only put things behind the GUI that I knew those kinds of instruments liked. With the voice, there's no question that the Fairchild is something that the voice likes. No question. And with waves being the best of modeling, the fact that we already had modeled out of 35 Fairchilds, one in particular, and in particular, the B side of that Fairchild, to create the Puig Child, I knew I had that. I knew that the Puig Child had to be a part of it. If nothing else, just the tonality of going through it. So when I created the plugins, I made sure that those general devices, hardware pieces, and software pieces, L1, it's gonna work. It's just gonna work. L1 is a heritage product of Waves. They got it right. She just came out perfect. She will always be around. Like an SM57, it will always be there. So the plugins have some of those, shall we call them garden variety, or the type of software products that work perfectly. For instance, like in the guitars, we modeled the Helios. Some of the guitars you hear on Led Zeppelin, some of the guitars you hear on Rolling Stones, the ones that we really like, it's Helios. So I wanted the plugin, the guitar plugin, to have that Helios sound. Sometimes what we do is we create sounds that you can't put a technical term to. You have to attach an emotional term to because it hits you emotionally, not technically. So when it says attitude in some of those, or if it says aggression, or the different way I call the different levers. So the magic fader, for instance, on the vocal plugin is exaggerated EQ on the top end that feeds an R reverb that has a very bright setting that then feeds a compressor that reacts differently to when it gets hit by the high end or the low end. And what it ends up doing is creating a beautiful, bright smear. And so when you put it on the voice and you raise that magic fader, you're essentially creating a magic filter in that it's makeup. All of a sudden, the voice sounds bright, almost like an oral exciter. It's like I hear the T's, the smack of the voice, the crack in the voice, the cry in the voice, and it envelops me. That's magic. How'd you do that? Did you put an SSL equalizer? Was it a Puig Tech? Was it an API 560? Like, how'd that happen? One other aspect of the plugins 5 years later, I find out 5 years later, is that I have a lot of the EDM guys, some of which I do mixes for, some of which I have conversations with, and they all compliment me consistently about the signature plugins. And I've asked myself a few times in my own private time, why those guys? Why do I hear a lot from those guys? And I realized because they're sound designers. If you think about EDM, if you think about the club, designing a sound, you take a sound and you manipulate the hell out of it to the point that when you're done with it, it's not even where it started. You cut it up, you turn it around, you do all kinds of stuff to it that has nothing actually almost to do with the original sound. Why? Because they're going for an emotion. They're going for a feeling. Their responsibility is to be inside that club and make you feel a certain way. And when they cut it up, when they speed it up, when they slow it down, when they drop the beat, when they yank it back up, when they make it bright, when they make it dark, when they make it murky, all of that is making you feel different ways. Scary, excited, happy, nervous. I want to move. I'm happy, I'm not sure. All these emotions. They're playing with your emotions. They're going into your heart and they're rewiring it constantly. It could happen over one beat. It could happen over 8 bars. They could take you on a journey for 2 hours as if they put drugs down your throat. So the Jack Joseph Puig Signature Series, as I've said, is very, very, very soundscape. The way they think is actually what I want people to do with them. I wish the EDM people could take the class and show the rock people, the pop people, the urban people, the R&B people, the country people, the classical people. Hey, this is how you look at these plugins. Like, we make music. Think creatively. Think about music. Think about your fan, how they feel emotionally. Think about what the song is supposed to do. This is not just an equalizer, just a compressor. This is soundscape. This is like EDM. The emotion, feeling, me taking you on a journey. But not in terms of EQ. When they are DJing and they're moving from, either one turntable to another turntable, or the 2 CDs or 2 computers, depending on what they do. They all do it different ways. They're not thinking on the screen, oh, I have an equalizer. And even if they do, they're not even using it right, so to speak, on purpose, right? They're not going 2 dB at 3K. They're like 10 dB at 3K, and now I'm gonna go all the way from 9K down to 900. They're soundscape. They're sound designers, emotional designers. That's what they are. That's what these plugins are. They're emotional designers. Then you can send that to the reverb. Then you can send that to the delay. That's why I didn't put the reverbs and delay in them. If I put the reverb and delays in them, right, then I immediately put you in a different space. I want you to think about the tone first. That's the meat and potatoes. That's the heart of the matter. when I made the plugins 5 years ago, one of the things I was looking forward to was the sessions coming and seeing how people used it. And I've now had sessions come with the bass plugin, for instance, on the vocal. I'm like, that's not right, but it's right, you know? I had one record, you know, where the guy's rapping and they used the bass plugin and they really pushed a lot of that sub and a lot of the attack. And it was like, his rap was almost like a bass drum. And it was supposed to be that in the record. You know, it was supposed to feel like the bass drum. And that made me so happy that I was able to create something that they could do something like that with, that they never maybe would have done.